All right, gang, let's dive right into it. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. I hope everyone had a good last 2 weeks there. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I am Jason there on the left, and we're always lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist here at Brilliant Directory. David, thank you so much for joining us in today's webinar.
Hey, everybody, we got some good updates and a great tip of the week to share with you. So really excited for today's webinar.
Yeah, and as always, we've made it a routine. We're also streaming on YouTube. The benefit of this, of course, is we can instantly share the YouTube replay link inside of the Facebook group after the webinar. So if there's something that you missed or we went too quickly or you want to recap, it will be available immediately in the Facebook group after the webinar. So speaking of the Facebook group, I do see some new names and faces here. Welcome to the webinar. If you're not already part of the BD Facebook group, I do invite and encourage you to join. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. Lots of great discussions and questions are in that group. I'm seeing lots of people ask for feedback, and they're getting constructive criticism on their websites and directories to help them propel those sites forward. So again, if you're not already part of the Facebook group, definitely encourage you to join us there. And for those of you joining for the first time, again, welcome. Webinar Wednesday is really a great place for us to share some of the newer features that are built into the platform week after week. Of course, there are tons of small patches and fixes with the platform. So in the webinars, we try to focus on the features that can provide you with actionable steps to help grow your community a bit faster and quicker. Sometimes we'll cover topics related to increasing traffic, converting some of your website visitors into paid or free subscribers or members to your website, how to improve search engine optimization, and also one of my favorites, how to improve the navigation and flow of your website to provide the best experience for the visitors of your site. So if you have any questions on these topics, please save them. We'll do our best to get to as many questions as possible later on in the webinar. All right, and we have a small handful of BD Lab updates to share, some new features that are released and some items that are coming soon. The first one here is related to the members search visibility. This one has come up in the Facebook group a few times actually. So we do have a setting in your general settings where you can enable this that requires members to have complete profiles before their listing displays in the search results. So people don't just join your site, add one piece of data like their first name, don't add anything else, and they're showing in the search results. It gives a bad user experience to the visitors who are trying to use your site as a resource. It's a really cool feature. If you do enable this, you definitely want to educate your members that they should complete whatever those fields are that create the complete profile status so that they're not wondering why they're not showing in the search results. So first, let me show you where the require complete profile settings are. And then what's new here is you can actually choose which fields are required for your members to complete in order to have a complete profile status. So let's head on over to the dashboard area here. And the setting that's always been here has been in the general settings area. And it's under search settings. And over here, we have require complete profiles. So this is the setting that's always been here, and it's always been locked into what it says here under the description. If this is enabled, it will only include members in the search result who at least have a name, a top level category selected, a profile photo or logo, and have entered their address into their profile. So that would constitute as a complete profile. If they don't have those bare minimum fields filled out, they will not show in the search results. So it works great. Those are some basic things we've always thought people or members should fill out to complete their profiles. However, some feedback from the BD community has been we'd like to have more required fields or custom required fields. So there is a setting in your advanced settings now. We'll go there together. And we'll look for require complete profiles. Over here, this would be the advanced setting for it. This does the same thing that the general setting does. However, over here, now you can put the field names that are required in order to constitute a complete profile. So you would put a comma-separated list here, don't put any spaces, and if you're wondering what to include here, what's a good quick tip for this, maybe you want the phone number field to be required as well. So you would want to put comma and the phone number field. If you don't know the value of what you should put here for the phone number field, I have a quick tip for you here. We do have in our documentation, let me go there here, the import file when you're importing members into your site. And in here, we do have an import template, and this template has all the names of all the fields that a member could enter into their profile. And if you're creating custom fields, you can also include that in your comma-separated list. And it would be the first link here. It downloads an Excel file to your computer so you can view the template file. And when you have that template file, I just have it opened in Google Sheets here. You can see all the field names, first name, last name, email, company. So if I wanted phone number to be required, it's easy to use this template file. I'll just copy phone number and I will add it here to my comma-separated list. So now if a member signs up and they don't have a phone number entered, they won't show up in the search results. So that's available now. Those of you who are using the setting, I'm sure this will come in handy. This works for both the default fields that we have with BD, zip code, things like that, and also any custom fields that you might add, like hair color or anything like that. So that is available now. Actually, let's take a quick stop for a second. If you want to raise your hand or we can unmute you, is anyone using the required complete profiles setting now? Well, we could just see from a quick show of hands if anyone is even using this setting on their site. Teresa and Stephen are using this setting. Also, Stephen, we got two Stephens using the setting, very nice. And yeah, we got a small handful of people, about 10 people here that are using this. Very cool. All right, this next one's pretty awesome, also requested from the Facebook group. As you guys know, last year we introduced pre-made elements in the admin dashboard area when you're creating web pages and things like that. It was requested to be able to use the pre-made elements when creating things like blog posts, when you have to log in as a member and create a post such as a blog. This is now available. I'll show you how it works and where you can enable this on any custom post type that you'd want as well. So what we have here, if we go to this site here, and we will post, let me post a new blog article, just a moment, let's backtrack a second. Let me go to my members, and let me search for the admin blog author member. Okay, let's log in as this blog author member here, so log in as member. And let's publish a website blog article. So generally the owner of the website is going to be the one to publish the company website blog articles on the site. That's why this post type exists, and that's why this membership plan exists, the admin blog author membership plan. The community articles are separate articles for the rest of your members to contribute articles. In this case, this setting is enabled here now for blog articles. You'll see this kind of tealish colored button here. It says pre-made elements. So of course we could always type a blog article from scratch, but now if you toggle pre-made elements, this is the same thing you're seeing in your admin area when you're editing a web page. You can now add content blocks to your blog post. So if you're writing an article and maybe you wanted to put an element like this in the middle of the article, it kind of helps quickly construct the page a bit quicker. Maybe you want to insert your own call to action in the middle of an article. Maybe you have a webinar coming up, or you want to incentivize people to join while they're reading your article. This is a great way to put in calls to action. Or maybe you're creating an article and you want to do a quick comparison of some elements that you're talking about in your blog post. You can now drag these pre-made elements into the blog here. So we'll just go ahead and we can always close this, and those elements will be here in the blog post. And it's the exact same pre-made elements that are available in your admin backend area as well. And let me show you one more detail about this, actually pretty important. So you're not going to see this on other post types. Let's go to events, for example. Events is a post type meant for all your members and you, the admin owner, to create. So if we scroll down here to the event description, we don't see that here. Your members wouldn't have the ability to kind of dress up the page like this. This would just be mainly for the website owner for post types such as the blog articles. If you wanted to know where that is controlled from, I can show you. If we go to the form manager, I'm actually customized the form that's related to posting and creating blog articles. I'll click on edit here. And so here is the form for blog articles here. We can see here the pre-made elements. And I'm just going to search for Froella. You could just search for editor too if that's too confusing. So under the type of field, under fancy fields, we have 3 editors. The Froella editor, that's like your most basic one as far as the toolbar options that are available here in the editor. The Froella editor with user image upload. So that one would allow your members, your users, to upload images. And then there is one for you, the admin. And the admin is the one that not only has image upload, but also the pre-made elements item here. So that's why we're seeing the pre-made elements on this editor. It's because it's using the Froella editor designated for the admin, which would be you, the website owner here. So if you're editing any of your post type forms and you want one for yourself, that's for the admin to include the pre-made elements, just select the admin here. All right, this one also a suggestion from the Facebook group. Round of applause for the Facebook group. Let's go to a search results page. There's a sidebar usually associated with a search results page. Let's just look at this site as an example. So in this case, we see that the sidebar is on the left side, and that's fine. And generally on mobile devices, the sidebar will and has historically always been at the end of the search results. So if we scroll down, we will then see the sidebar elements on mobile underneath the results. However, there is a new setting here, and you can decide if on mobile devices, on smartphones, iPhones, Androids, things like that, if you want the sidebar to show above the results. So sometimes you might want, if you have a short sidebar, you might want that to display above the results on mobile. Let me show you where you can set that per post type now. This would be under My Content and Edit Post Settings. And we can look at, I guess we could look at the events, or it doesn't matter. We'll just go to any post type. The setting is in the same place for all the post types. So let's say for the digital products search results page, you would go to the search results design tab, and this will be under additional settings. So when we toggle this open, we have some settings here, which sidebar to use, a sidebar search module to use, and here is the new setting, sidebar position on mobile devices. So by default, it's set to bottom because that's what it's always been, but you can set this to top. And if you look at the page from your smartphone device, you'll notice that the sidebar and all the sidebar elements will be above the search results on mobile. Now, a bit of a warning here, if you have a pretty heavy sidebar with lots of elements here, it might push the main search results that people are after further down the page. So I would only recommend using this if you have a short sidebar with maybe 1 to 3 maximum elements. We don't want people scrolling too much just to get to the results that they've already searched for. So just a small pro tip there. This probably works best if you only are using the search module in the left-hand side or right-hand side of the sidebar and no other elements. But this is here now, and you guys can play around with that and see how it looks from your smartphone device. All right, and some updates coming very soon. We did mention this in the recent newsletter and in the previous webinar. 2 new add-ons are almost eking their way to the finish line. the file upload for forms, and the member credits system. We are hoping for a February release on both of these, if one of them, or at least for one of them, and at the latest time, early March. We are hitting a few snags with some of these, but our QA and development team is working through them. So we have those 2 new add-ons coming very soon, and I'll be sure to update us in the webinars and in the Facebook group as soon as I have more information on their releases. And there are 3 major speed updates also in the final QA process. These speed updates touch a lot of places of the software, so the QA team is being very diligent in their testing before we push these, but effectively what these are going to do, there are things that load on every web page when the page loads. Validation for forms, Google Map elements, and also those dynamic drop-downs when we're selecting from one top-level category to a sub-level category. Basically, what these updates are surrounded around are we only need to load these elements when they're requested. So only when someone clicks into edit a form or submit a form, or when someone wants to use the dynamic drop-downs. And once these are pushed, we've seen the page speed scores increase dramatically, as well as the page load times come down as well. So we're looking forward to these releases very soon. And also, a major one that also comes up in the Facebook group is email deliverability. We are creating a system to automate domain authentication for sending emails. I know it sounds complicated, but within any system, unless you authenticate your domain name with the sender, there's a higher probability that some of those emails will land in spam folders from time to time. So we're going to automate the authentication process for most users, and then provide steps for anyone else who needs to just click a few buttons to get their domain authenticated. So that's going to help with deliverability. More of your emails from the BD platform will land successfully in people's inboxes and fewer in spam. So we're looking forward to releasing that soon as well. Specifically on these topics, we want to save the Q&A for the end of the webinar, but if you have any comments or questions about these updates, I'd love to take a question or two and see what you guys think. All right, we got some hands up here. Good friend Rich. How you doing, Rich?
Great, Jason. How's it going?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining the webinar.
Absolutely, yeah. Love this this new feature. That's the biggest challenge, is getting members to complete their profile. So anything advancing that cause is just awesome. So 2 questions on that topic. Is one, is there a way we can view members who have not completed their profile? And the second part is, how will the member be notified, or if there's a way that the member can be notified that's not completed, some auto reminders? Because literally this is a real case scenario. I had a member that joined months ago and just completed their profile today. And so we kind of keep them in a pending. We have to manually put them in a separate member category that it's not complete, and then I just kind of monitor who's logged in, and based on that I can view their profile. But
yeah, you bring up a good point. I think the easiest thing and the lowest hanging fruit would be to add a filter here. If the setting is enabled in general settings, being able to search members based on their completeness status, whether they're completed or not completed. Okay. And then based on that, this is where I'm going to take some notes on here. So if the setting is enabled, add an extra filter. And then what you could do is create a smart list of completed profiles or incomplete profiles. And for now, it might be a little manual, but maybe on the 1st of every month, you can send an email to the incomplete profiles reminding them what they need to do, something light and friendly and things like that. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rich. That's a very good suggestion. Yeah, that's a good one there.
And on the same topic you just mentioned about domain names, I'll just finish with this. Is there a way to view members that have unsubscribed? Because it's hard to monitor, like we have, the welcome on onboarding process, and even I send a lot of direct messages to members that go through the platform. But is there a way to see that? Okay, there's the answer right there.
Yeah, and if they're on the unsubscribe list, and they're included in some of your smart lists, they will not be sent your email newsletters and things like that. They would be omitted first.
So that's right under contacts.
View contacts and then view unsubscribe list. Here you can remove them from the unsubscribe list. You can manually add an email to the unsubscribe list. And of course, you can just see everyone who's part of the unsubscribe list.
Yeah, because we're thinking we might just send them an email off the site to say, did you intentionally intend to unsubscribe? Because some people just click on it, accidentally. But awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. This is awesome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rich. All right, good stuff there. We'll get some more questions a little later in the webinar. And this was the slide from the previous webinar. These will be the cover art for the 2 new add-ons that are coming down the line, the file uploads for forms and the member credit system. All right, and tip of the week, David, if it's okay with you, I'd like to pass it over. Really cool tip of the week, 3 elements you should add to your members dashboard. Actually goes in kind of in the same vein as what we were talking about with the updates. If it's okay, I'll pass it over to you, David, and you can run us through this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So the member dashboard page, often an overlooked area of your website, but one that's probably viewed most often, at least by your members. So we'll start off by talking about what's so special about the member dashboard page anyway. Again, this is one that, it's not indexed by Google or search engines. It's not one that's linked to in your main menu or your footer. It's not one that's accessible by just general website visitors. So what makes it so special anyway? Well, after logging in, it's the very first page that every single one of your members will always see. Unless, of course, you've changed which page they're redirected to after they log in. By default, this is the page they'll always see first. So on this page is a great opportunity to expose them to new and important information that you really want to get out in front of them. A lot of times, maybe you'll post some important news in your website's blog roll, but maybe your members aren't going to that area of your website. They're not checking that out, or maybe kind of the articles are getting lost in the shuffle. So if there's, a brand new feature or update that you want to get out in front of them and really let them know about, this would be a great place and opportunity to do that. Now, the default layout gives members a ton of links, links to publish new content, to access their account details, to manage their account and their billing information, everything like that. But the dashboard can be personalized to really better suit your members and your specific target audience. And this is done on a per membership plan basis. So the dashboard page for your low level, say your free members, can be totally different than the dashboard page for your highest tier paid members. So really the goal here is to rethink the dashboard, how we can better utilize that page for improved member engagement, to make members look forward to actually logging in, not just so that they can post content or check on their new leads, but also to see what's new that's been added into their dashboard since the last time they logged in. So some key elements to add on to your member dashboard. Here, we're just kind of going to list some basic ideas of elements that you can add to your members' dashboards. Some of these will make a lot of sense for your specific members. Others won't be that applicable. It really depends on your target audience and your industry and what your members are looking for out of your website. But starting off, just the basic website or company news. As I mentioned, if you're utilizing the website blog article section to publish website news, maybe your members just aren't interested necessarily, or they don't know about that section of your website, so they're not seeing those articles. Well, if you add recent blog posts or maybe new features or updates that you have coming down the pipeline or upcoming events, maybe a brand new report on your community's industry just came out, or an infographic or a new ebook that you're providing. All these things, this would be a great place to kind of highlight them and showcase them. As soon as your members log in, they'll see a nice banner. If you want to make a banner and place it in there, this would be a great place to draw some attention to that. Obviously, if you want to go the banner route, you could do that in a program like Photoshop. There's also some free online tools. Canva is one that we've talked about a lot in these webinars. I think Adobe also actually now has a free online tool to create banners. So there's a lot of flexibility here with this type of element. What you can also do is share some relevant messages or videos. This can be something as simple as a motivational quote that's related to your audience. You could update this daily, you could update it weekly, monthly, every couple months, whatever suits your schedule. Or maybe you were in an interview, one of your community members or a leader in your target industry. Maybe one of them was in a recent interview or webinar or a podcast that's relevant to your members. You can either embed that video, or if it's a SoundCloud audio file, you can embed that directly into the dashboard, or you can share a link with some additional text in the members dashboard, or maybe like even for your free basic members, because as I mentioned, you can customize the dashboard page on a per membership plan basis. Maybe for those free members, since those are probably your newer members, maybe you want to embed a how-to video, just a simple 2-minute screen share that you make and that you've embedded into their dashboard page, explaining the benefits of their new account, how they can navigate the dashboard, and maybe highlight some different sections of the website that they might otherwise overlook. What you can also do to show your members that you are looking to improve is to solicit suggestions. So you can add a section into the members dashboard where you just ask for their feedback, and you can include a link out to another page on your website. It doesn't have to be a page that you're linking to in your main menu or your footer, but you can link out to this new page that you create. You can add a form on there where you ask for the member's name, email, and then maybe just a text box where they can submit whatever comments or feedback, suggestions that they'd like to send you. Something really simple, but shows your community that you are looking to improve and you're eager to hear what they think and what they have to say. Now moving on to some of the potentially most useful features are some calls to action that you can add into the member dashboard page. So you can add some free ones, maybe with the primary intent of increasing the members' engagement on your website and within your community. So this could be things like we were just talking about, completing their profile, or maybe publishing a new post, browsing some specific content on your website. But you can also include maybe some paid calls to action with the primary intent of increasing sales on your website. So these could be calls to action like to upgrade their account, maybe if they want to purchase a banner ad on your website, linking out to their own website, or maybe just to their profile. Maybe if they want to be featured higher in the search results on your website than the other members, they can pay for that upgrade, or maybe even just have some additional services like a profile audit, or maybe some marketing services that you want to offer. You can highlight and showcase those in the member dashboard as well.
Yeah, these are some awesome ideas that you put together here. Obviously, we can let what is the phrase, 1,000 flowers bloom on what to put on the dashboard, but positive messaging, soliciting suggestions, or putting links where they can contact you with questions or for help with their profiles, getting them to take actions like post a classified ad or post an event, whatever you're trying to get members to contribute for user-generated content. And then, of course, I think the most overlooked is calls to action for paid separate services. One, obviously upgrading their membership plan if they're on a lower tiered level, or paying for any sponsorships or banner ads around the site. And that works great with the Download Digital Products add-on, where you can sell services that are not necessarily membership plans on the site. So this is a really cool list here. And just to take it a step further, this is stuff just using text and images and links. You can have all these things listed here in the members dashboard. However, I have seen people work with developers in the marketplace to put more comprehensive, slightly more complicated, requires a developer's touch, but reports and charts and things like that for the users, as well as completeness checklists. So we were talking about the profile completeness. I've seen developers create like checkboxes when parts of the profile are complete for the dashboard. But I think moving on from that, we did create a fully customized member dashboard just using the pre-made elements and blocks. So I think let's take a look at that together, huh, David?
Yeah, let's do that. I think the main point here to take away is that there's just a lot of ideas that you can incorporate into the dashboard when you kind of rethink it so that it acts more as a tool and a place that your members are looking forward to, rather than just sort of a landing page that they get to as soon as they log in.
Exactly. Something to engage them a bit more. So we did create a sample member dashboard design for membership plan 1 on this site. So first let's log in as a member, and then we can see what we've created and how we did that as well. So let's log in as this member here. Okay, great. And just to be honest with you guys, we kind of did this a bit quick right before the webinar. However, the fact that we did it this quick, it came out pretty okay in my opinion. But just to let you know, if you probably took a little bit more time, you can get even better results for this. So why don't we start from top to bottom? David, why don't you let us know what you decided to put in here as custom content for this member upon logging in, and then we can show you guys in the backend area how we created this.
Yeah, so right at the very top, I figured this is the perfect place to kind of showcase or highlight the most important or most recent feature, update, new event, whatever it may be that you want to show to your members. I figured this was the perfect place to do it. And I thought it would best be done by using a banner to really grab their attention rather than just using some text. So as I mentioned, if you don't have Photoshop or you're not familiar with it, that's how we made this banner here, but you could certainly use free online tools like Canva. And as I mentioned, I think Adobe also has a free banner maker now as well. So that's what we did for the first section here. Then right below that, we just have a simple message of the week, kind of assuming this sample site was targeted for the digital marketing community. We have a little simple quote that kind of goes along with that theme with traditional marketing. You tell people they're a rock star. With content marketing, you show them they're a rock star, and then we have a little image to go with that. So this could be just a little something that can be updated weekly or monthly, but whatever fits your schedule, but something that at least keeps the dashboard fresh, and maybe it'll give your members some motivation or some new ideas, kind of get their gears going a little bit.
That's really important. This doesn't need to be updated daily. You could have some, I guess, evergreen assets here, things that just never change, and you might have things that might change monthly, like an upcoming event or something specific that's coming soon that you want to mention. It could be a feature on the website or whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be the message of the week. It could be the message of the month, and there could be a theme for your members, and you have a video that complements that message and theme. And this is the goal that they should have for this month. This month is all about something good for their business or whatever it might be. But that way you get a unified community goal together, and you could take it a step further, and people can share their experiences. You could put a link under here and take it a step further. So again, it doesn't have to be something that you're updating daily. There could be some permanent features here, and then just some things that you update maybe monthly.
Yeah, and speaking of those permanent or semi-permanent kind of evergreen features, we added 3 things to do now. Again, customizing the member dashboard page is done on a per membership plan basis. So these 3 things to do now could be different for your free members versus your highest tier paid members. But in here, we just added some simple ones like updating their profile, posting an ad, in this case, a classified ad, as well as getting an article written about the member. So if you offer a service where you can kind of write an article featuring a specific member of your community, you can include an application. So here, we're just linking out to, in this case, that first box, it would be a link out to maybe editing their basic details, their basic information right there. So you just grab that URL and you just add it to the button in that section. Posting an ad, it would be the same thing. You would go to the classified section in the member account, grab the URL, and attach that link to the button there. And then the last thing, the last box, they're getting an article written about the member. In this kind of hypothetical scenario, you could link that button out to a page on your website, one that maybe isn't indexed by search engines, one that's not included in your main menu, but a page that you created that includes a form where they can add some information about themselves, what they're looking to get out of a featured article, things like that.
Yeah, one thing we covered in previous webinars is you can create these portals for your users using the pre-made elements. This is basically just 3 blocks next to each other. And you can always grab the links of these things. So maybe this would say like update your profile photo. Just grab the link. You just right click it, copy link. And when you're editing this module here, and we'll show you how when we go to the admin area, just make this link correspond to where you want to send them. So you can create really good click portals kind of things for your members, getting them to post content or taking them to areas of your site. Especially if you have a members only site, you can then portal them to the pages that are members only that they can now access since they're logged in. So this is great to get them to take action on things they should do on the site.
Yeah, kind of going back to the slide with the ideas for elements you can include, that section would kind of go in line with those free calls to action to boost engagement on the site. And then following that, we have some paid calls to action where you can generate some additional revenue from your members. In this specific example, we have some additional services like a profile review where maybe you want to go over the member's profile with them, see how it can be improved, what information can be added, how it can be cleaned up. Maybe the member wants to be the featured profile of the week, maybe on your homepage. You can charge them for that. Or maybe if they want to be featured for an entire month instead of just for 1 week, you offer that as an option for an additional service as well. So we put this together, as Jason said, really in about 45 minutes. I think this looks pretty good, pretty clean, lots of different information here. So it's really up to you and your imagination kind of what you can do with this in, half a day's time.
Let's take a look at the admin area and where we made those edits. So each dashboard is based on the membership plan. So in this case, we edited the membership plan 1. These are just generic names for the webinar here. And where you can edit this dashboard stuff is in the members dashboard tab. And these are all settings related to the members dashboard, what they can see and do. So what we did actually in the dashboard display settings, we turned off all the default options that are displaying there by themselves, manage listings, QR code, and things like that. And we're 100% using the custom dashboard content. So what's really cool is you can have header content, which would be this text editor here. And if you have any of these other things enabled, they will show in between the header content. And if I scroll down a bit more, there's dashboard footer content. So you can actually sandwich in some of the default things in between the dashboard footer content, the custom dashboard footer content, and your dashboard header content. Let's actually enable a few of these, just 3 of them. I will say account details and the QR code. Let's just save that and see how this looks with some of the custom elements mixed in with some of the default elements that are available. So if we scroll down a bit, so here now we can see that these are the custom elements and here are the default elements: published content, account details, free QR code image. And then these are the footer elements, things to do now and additional services, just to give you a gauge of what's happening here on this page. So if we go back here, I'll just turn these off now. I think that's pretty clear. And if we scroll down, we can see what David created here. Used some of the pre-made elements here. So for example, we can use a pre-made element for teams or whatever. You guys can get creative here, but basically these are just pre-made templates of content. You can drop it in and then make your changes to the newly added section here. I'll go ahead and save the changes and we'll see this this default content block here, and these will be gone now as well. So this is it looks really nice. You might not want to overwhelm users with too many items. It might distract them from the key calls to action that you want them to take. But you can definitely put some elegant links and content blocks here to either share information or get them to take an action. And then the same thing is for the footer. Here are the things to do now. In this case, David had used the block. I think it's a basic content block for 3 elements. Just put it up here. when you come here now, we have these 3 generic blocks here. In this case, David replaced these larger, default images with little smaller images here. And then, yeah, Dave?
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, I think one other important thing to note is if you are familiar with HTML or CSS and you really want to get a little bit more creative, add some additional details, you can of course access the code view for these as well, and add your own code. Or even if you just want to embed a YouTube video or something like that in the dashboard, you can do that here as well.
And yeah, actually bring up a good point for people who are more familiar with coding and want to move beyond just the pre-made elements. You can choose to use the text editor, or you can use a custom widget that you create that's totally coded from the ground up, that uses JavaScript and your own custom CSS and HTML and everything. Just select the custom widget that you want to render here, in this case in the dashboard footer content or in the header area. So whether you're a novice, a beginner, and just want to use the pre-made elements, or a developer and you want to really show your own custom content here, you really have the ability to do so with this here. And then what I was going to show, one more thing, is just these additional services is, how you can get these to link to where you can purchase this. This would work in line with the, let me just go there, the digital products add-on. It's the sell, excuse me, not download, sell digital downloads add-on. I always mix up the name on this one, but the sell digital downloads add-on, and I'll share a link there. And let's actually create a digital product, David, and link it there in the dashboard real quick. So this is for the admin, the website owner, to create posts of additional things you can sell on the website. So let's actually log in as an admin blog contributor real quick. Let's create a digital product and link it there in the dashboard. I think this will bring the presentation full circle here. So let's just search for a member that's an admin blog contributor, and we'll log in. And I believe this site has the digital downloads add-on. Yep, so website digital products. So let's just create a new digital product. And this one will be called, I guess we'll call it what it says here in the dashboard, which is a profile review, $50. So profile review, $50. You can leave that blank. So the buy button, so get reviewed now. So what's cool is you can choose what the buy button text says, the call to action on the buy page. You can redirect buyers to a custom thank you page. You have to create that thank you page first, and then you can choose that that is the page they'll be redirected to upon purchase. You can send a confirmation email after purchase. So of course, we would want to create a custom email template and then provide instructions on what they can expect next after they have purchased this product. So you could choose the custom email template to receive. And then the description of this product, get a profile review, and we'll just save the changes. And I think you can add images as well. I don't have any images, but we'll just link to this page here real quick. So now that the product is published, we can view the post. So this is a digital product, and it's a profile review. So what you can do is, and this is where it says $50 profile review, get reviewed now. If I click this, I don't think there's a payment gateway set up on this demo site, but yeah, there you go. The person could put their credit card number in and they can proceed with purchasing this product. So what we'd want to do is we'd want to, and this is back to editing the dashboard footer content. We have the links here. We can edit the link to go to that page, digital products, profile review, and we can change it from learn more to buy now or get it now. And I'll go ahead and save these changes. And what we can do is let's log in as back to that dashboard of a member who would see that. Okay, so we're back to a member who has a customized dashboard. And if we scroll down and click on the $50 profile review, we can click on buy now. And it takes us to not a very well decorated page, but from here they can purchase a profile review, get reviewed now, etc., etc. So that brings it full circle on how you can add internal links to your website on this dashboard page. Maybe they're free calls to action you want them to take, paid calls to action, or anything else that you can imagine. Do we leave anything out here, David? I think that was pretty complete there.
I think that pretty much covers it. Again, it really just comes down to rethinking the dashboard about how it can be used more of as a tool for your members.
Absolutely. So what we'll do now is we do have some time left over. We can take some questions or comments if you want to ask something related to the tip of the week, your own personal website. We'll see if we can help a few of you out there now. So do see some hands up. Our good friend Roy, how are you doing there?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. And I'm very interested to see your last item about modifications to the dashboard and selling additional services. A situation I've got developed regarding things like property sales, classified ads, events, listings, where if somebody wants to sell a property on the site, they might want to advertise it for 3 months. And I could set that up as a one-time payment for 3 months duration, or similarly with an advert to sell a car or something like that. But if the item doesn't sell within that period of time, I've been trying to figure out how I could then enable them to, buy an extra month or buy an extra couple of weeks or something like that. So, the member says we want to for another month, and then I have to manually go in and charge them and then manually extend the period. But I wonder if there's any way that could be automated.
I'm with you. So there isn't an automated way to do that. However, and it seems pretty clear what you're looking to accomplish, the first thing I'm going to share with you is how to add a hidden expiration date for things like property listings. So each listing will expire 3 months, or whatever number you decide as the website owner. It will expire X amount of days after the listing is published. Let me share this link with you here. And what this does is you'll probably want to use the hidden field method. And that will allow you to do is put a hidden expiration date for X amount of days after a post is published, like a property, a photo, or a product. What you might want to do with a developer from the marketplace is, because it doesn't exist in the BD system, is when one of these post types expire, such as a property listing, have an email be sent out asking the website owner if they'd like to repost their property listing or classified or whatever it would be. That part you would need to work with a developer. However, the scope of it, as I explained, seems pretty straightforward. And if you're using this hidden field method, so we know that the system is creating a defined time when a post will expire, then it can initiate that email that you can set up to be sent to the person whose post just expired. So those would be the two things you might want to set up. You might want to also remind people in their dashboard that posts auto expire after 3 months if they're not taken down by the member themselves. Obviously, when you sell a pair of shoes on a classifieds website, you want to take that listing down so people don't keep asking for your Air Jordans, after you don't have them anymore. So people usually take care of that by themselves. But things like property listings and stuff, I would use the hidden field method here. It's about 3 steps to follow, and you can add whatever days you want these post types to expire after they're published. So hope that helps you out there, Roy. All right, let's see, Dan, I got your hand up here, Dan. There we go, Dan. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, perfect. So we went to create a new webhook today for the post, and then we ran a test and so forth. And it looks like the URL of like the blog post isn't included in that. So I was wondering if there's any way that we can include the URL of the blog post in that webhook data, so that way we could like automatically post it to Facebook and social media and everything via Zapier.
If it's not doing that, it's probably not happening. That's a good suggestion. We call it the file name. That's the URL the post. So yeah, we
Okay.
should definitely include the file name of the post with the webhook. I'll notify the team and have them put that on the to-do list.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good suggestion there. Okay, we got Stephen B. Stephen B, I've unmuted your mic.
Oh, hi, Jason. Thanks a lot for this wonderful webinar. Hey, a question about these features with, like the events, coupons, and even with, say, 90 days. What happens to the data after the 90 days, the pictures? I know it's good to keep it good service, but I mean, is it a big residue on the website?
Not at all. So anything that's expired won't show in the active search results on your site. However, they will remain online for SEO purposes. It's a really good tool for that user-generated content to attract visitors to your site. I do believe the expiration date is there. So if anyone who finds that page, it will say that the event or the coupon and whatnot is expired. And you as the website owner, if you really wanted to, you could choose to delete those, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend keeping them on the page. One, it's a historical reference for what the members have published to your site. And again, two, it's really good SEO value because it's unique SEO content that the members have created on your site.
Oh, I think I'm so happy I answered the question just to make sure. So when it expires, say the event expires, if somebody did a search and they happen to find that event on the internet somewhere, it would be there. They could read about it, but if they clicked, it would just say it's expired. However,
Right.
It would be out there, correct?
Correct, right. But if they're doing active searches on your website for events, it won't show in those search results on your website.
On Google.
Yeah, on Google, that we call it the detail page. The detail page for that specific post should continue ranking for your website, which should help attract visitors.
Now, one question on that. If the people clicked on that, does it take them to my website or does it take them to their profile?
Yeah, so if they clicked from Google, it would take them to that event post or coupon post on your website. But from there, they could then click to many other areas of your site, such as any related posts you have in the sidebar, back to the search results for your main events and things, and anything in your main menu as well.
All right, thank you very much for your
You're
time.
very
And great question.
Yeah, absolutely, that's a really good question. All right, and we've had Stephen B. Let's go with Stephen W. here.
Can you hear me?
How's it going today? Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, great webinar. Thank you. Yeah, I have a question regarding the initial discussion about the completed profiles, the new feature.
Yes.
So I know in the advanced setting, you could put the variable names like, first name, first dash name and last name, that sort of thing. But what about the other section, like the search categories? Are you able to somehow include that, or even the service areas, like to see if they completed something on that? Or is it only going to be the profile information variables?
That's a good question. I'll show you everything that it would include real quick.
Okay.
I don't think it includes service areas. Those would be additional service areas that a person serves or travels to. So maybe somebody doesn't have additional service areas beyond the main address that they put in with their main contact information. However, let me show you everything that you can include. Let me just log in as a sample member here. So basically all four of these, so I'll open these in different tabs. So anything in the first tab, even if you add custom fields here, just add that to your comma separated list. So you can add any of these things here. For the profile photo or logo, input file. So just type file and that will check that they have a profile photo or a logo photo added. So that would require them to have a profile photo added to their listing. So just use the word file in your comma separated list. Under additional details, so this would be anything here basically on this page. I'm not sure about the subcategories.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, the subcategories.
I need to ask. Let me ask the team. Can subcategories? If you want to ask, if you want to email the support team and ask them, that's fine too, or ask in the Facebook group. Count as a required.
I mean, do you want me to? I don't need it immediately, but with the feature that you're offering, I was just wondering if you have that capability. So
I don't know. This one's this is its own widget. I don't know if it's tied into that logic, but I'll ask the team. But if you also want to email support, if subcategories, I put a screenshot like, can these be selecting these be added to the screenshots help them a lot. They'll be able to answer you a lot quicker. And then the last thing is the about me. So if you require them to input the about me section too.
Okay.
All right.
All right, great. Yeah, and not to give you any pressure, or but the first audience member that spoke up regarding the being able to search easily to determine if what profiles are complete, and then you suggested that maybe you guys would put a drop-down option for that.
Yeah, that's low-hanging fruit for us. So I'll mention that.
Yeah, is that easy to do?
On our end, that would be one of the easier updates to do for our team to do. So I'll mention it to them, and they'll see where they can slip it into the project queue for this one.
That'd be great.
So I think that'd be. I think
so. I
do
the same thing. I check it manually one by one, then move over the complete ones to a different plan and that sort of thing. So yeah, that would be much better.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Good stuff. The guys love the suggestions here. Like we already got like 4 things here to just double check or create. So thank you for that. All right, we'll move over to Teresa. How you doing, Teresa?
Hi, I am fairly new. So one of the questions that I have is that for the call to action on the member dashboard, I have a question for you about the sizes for the banners for those call to actions.
Good question. Like, what would be the desired size to put?
Yeah.
That's a really good question. I will tell you what I would recommend. So let me just I can actually inspect elements and then tell you what the size should be. So basically this area, you can see the 870 there. That's the width of this area. I usually like to upload images that are just about maybe 25% larger than the area they're going to fill. I've learned you get crisper images when you do that. So if you're going to create an image 870, I might use an image that's maybe 1,000 pixels wide or close to that, 1,000 or 1,100 pixels wide, and then the height is depending on what you need the height to be. But I wouldn't upload, for example, a 3,000 or 4,000 pixel wide image in this place. I'd stick to around 1,000.
So 1,000 by maybe 250. Is that 250 width? I mean height.
So the height really depends on you might be uploading a square image for certain reasons. You might be uploading a horizontal image like you're mentioning. But yeah, I think generally people are used to 250 or 300 height for banner images. So something like that.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, good luck with that. If you want, post in the Facebook group what you create. We'd like to see what you do.
Yeah, I'll attempt it tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck. Cheers. All right, fun stuff there from Teresa. We got our good friend Ryan here. I'm gonna unmute your mic there, Ryan. How you doing?
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
I just had a couple of questions that popped in my brain when we were talking about pushing updates with the webhooks. I had one question on RSS feeds. Is there a reason or is there a way to actually push the image from posts in that RSS feed? Because I think it just does the text portion. I've never seen the image come through. I don't know if it's supposed to or if that's been left out for a reason, but
yeah, I think it was left out on purpose. There was some conflict with some RSS readers to not that they were having conflicts when we added the image. However, you bring up a good point. We could have an advanced setting because people use their sites in different ways, like with readers that will read the images, and you might need that personally for your own site.
Yeah, it's just a lot more muted without the image on there for most instances that you're using. So. Then just came up with a client today, and I don't know if this is a setting for the events or whatever that they disappear after they're done. Is there a setting to keep them on there just for historical purposes, even if they're like stacked at the bottom or older? If you're doing the new to the old or whatever, just so that they're there, so because some people are adding links in there that are historical, I guess, of a recording or whatever that event was, so it's still useful and it just kind of disappears on people. So I didn't know if that was a setting.
So let's look at this together. So this is like our demo site. So this is showing, this obviously works the way it does, where these events we set way in the future so they don't expire off the demo site like in 2025. So you can search events. The select date range is the date range where the event is happening. So if it's happening between February 15th and February 20th, and people search that, they'll be able to find it. What would you think? I know you're saying like put it at the bottom, but how can we not confuse users with, where would we put events that have expired?
Well, I think you just pointed to it. To be honest, the calendar thing, I understand about defaulting it to the calendar starting from now until the future, but and then disappearing them. But if I wanted to search and change the event search to last month and to show the last month, it would then re-show everything from last month because I searched for it.
Oh, okay. So you bring up a good point here. So for events or anything with expiration date, for events or posts with expiration dates, if the date field is empty, just show up non-expired posts. And then if searching dates in the past, then show posts from those dates.
Because a lot of events have, video and stuff that can be replayed after the fact and stuff. And so there's a lot of use cases where you still want to have access to some details on it.
Yeah. This has been, with coding and stuff, it's one of those things, just you can go down a black hole when you're trying to create the logic for certain things, but I think something closer to this would work. So thank you. I'll share this with the team.
Good, thanks.
All right, good stuff there. Okay, yeah, the expiration date thing has always been something for us to tackle, and we just defaulted to showing posts that are still active. However, if you look for things in the past, it should show you those ones in the past. Good one there, Ryan. All right, guys, let me see. I think we did take a bunch of questions here. We are just a little bit past our time here. If we didn't get to your question, I do encourage you to ask it in the Facebook group. David, thank you so much for this tip of the week. Really opens a lot of opportunities on how to utilize the member dashboard as a tool for the website. I hope you guys like the lab updates and the ones coming soon. We'll be sure to keep you posted in the Facebook group. So on behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, thank you so much for joining the webinar. The next webinar, guys, will be in 2 weeks. So that'll be closer to the end of the month this February. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, we'll have some of those add-ons released by that time. And again, if you're not already part of our Facebook group, please join us, brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. Go there now. We'll see you there. And take care, guys. Have a great day and a brilliant week. Bye-bye.